if you don't have electricity, then those things don't work. Is that what those vans are with the loudspeakers on them?
Oh, yeah,
So they're
exactly.
doing the same thing, they just
Yeah.
do it for the whole village with a van.
Yeah,
Okay, I thought
yes.
that was probably what that
That
was.
exactly. That's what they use actual humans. So in North Korea, they pick the people who has a good voice, and
So that would
then
be like my job in North Korea is just to yell at everybody in a village to go to work and eat lunch?
you have to feel them inspired. You have
Yeah.
to feel them like really brainwashed.
Oh gosh. That's
Yeah.
so depressing.
Yeah.
My
Or
goodness.
the accordions, right? In North Korea, we don't have the instruments that needs electricity, so accordions and guitars are the most common instrument. So every music is used to be brainwashing
Yeah,
people.
yeah, have you ever seen those kid performances? Those are
Oh,
so creepy because the kids are really good at
yeah.
dancing or guitar or singing, but then also it's like their whole life it's like the Olympics of being good at propaganda and having no artistic flair for
Mm.
the thing that you're practicing your whole life, and they're like 6.
I know, like there was a documentary I really recommend you to watch. It's called Under the Sun, and he's a Russian director goes to North Korea and say like, "Oh, I'm gonna like make a documentary about how you put up this some parade or something," and then like they do it, but he did not edit. He filmed before the thing and after the thing, so which was everything was show.
Oh, so it was like B-roll. The
Yeah,
B-roll turns out to be the BTS behind the scenes is the actual documentary, the
yeah,
rest of it he threw on.
exactly.
Oh, that's interesting.
But what shocked me, this is like a 9 years old girl. It's like a Jinmi, right? She this time she was holding Kim Jong Il's actual arm at the parade the other day because everybody thought she get killed. So she was like used as a character who was very blessed in a social paradise, having a wonderful life, and then she was like, okay, she's like, why don't you just like maybe read a poetry? And then she doesn't know what poetry is, so she reads the her commitment oath to their leader,
Mhm.
and then he at the end asked like because she was not happy because she was not like doing good job. It's like Jimmy, are you happy? And then like what's that?
Mhm.
She does not know what that is. What happy is.
Even emotions are off limits in
Yeah.
North Korea. That is wild.
And
Unbelievable.
yeah, so these kids are so brainwashed, and they're like become robots because all fear.
Robots. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I noticed that there's a lot of sort of robotic, tired people. Well, actually, I should say I assumed it was because they're tired. There'd be people who, when they're standing and they're like at a bar,
Mm-hmm.
serving food, and when
Bar.
yeah, like at a
There's a
hotel.
bar in North Korea. Oh
Yeah, like at a
wow.
hotel or
Yeah.
at like yeah, like a restaurant. And they're
Wow.
standing there, but when they're not interacting with anyone, they just do this. And my friends and I were like, "Is she sleeping while standing up?" And we learned shortly that she was actually, like, sort of sleeping because you could see her moving like, losing her balance gradually, and we realized that she was so tired and so malnourished that she was literally falling asleep while standing up and working, and
Right.
I think, like, to live your whole life like that and to not be able to have access to your own emotions, it's just you're right, they're like robots.
People don't live after 60. Most of people, like that's the thing in North Korea, you never hear that people died from stroke or people died from like cancer. We don't wait that long to get killed by disease. Like other things kill us first. So North Korea's life expectancy is extremely low. My grandmother died, I think around American age, like 58 or 59,
Wow.
from starvation. And everybody was like, oh, she lived a long life.
Which is crazy because at 59, you're, like, in America, you're probably in some of your prime. Your kids
Yeah.
maybe are grown, so you're kicking ass at work and you're doing your thing, you're maybe gonna retire pretty soon. You're not
Yeah.
winding down.
No.
No, unbelievable. I know that, people have asked me this before. They say, "Oh, is it true that if you fold the newspaper wrong, you can get in trouble?" And I think we should highlight some of the things that you have to do in North Korea to the performative nonsense, right? So if you fold a newspaper incorrectly, if there's a photo of the leader, that's it, right?
You might get a concentration camp, but if you rip it, so every front newspaper in North Korea is a Kim's photo, but back page you don't see it. So sometimes you do not see the front page, and then you rip it. That's how you get executed.
Ah, okay. So and of course, it can be accidental. In a
It's
hotel
accidental at all. Yeah.
once, there's these magazines they give you on the flight, and it had every single one obviously has, like, Kim Jong Un's face on it. Before, it was Kim Jong Il, so I had a magazine with Kim Jong Il's face on it, and I put it on the table in the hotel because I wanted to keep it, and then there's an ashtray, and I put the ashtray on, and I put my coins in it, and I put it all on top of the magazine because, of course, in the United States, you never think about this. Who cares? It's a magazine. When I came back, all my stuff was arranged neatly and the magazine was gone. And on the way home on the flight, they seated me in the back next to, I think, like some sort of North Korea. Usually they separate the foreigners and the North Koreans. They couldn't. I had to seat next to this tough looking guy in the back, which is a little scary. And I wanted to borrow a pen, and he gave me a pen. And I had the in-flight magazine, and I wanted to write something down, except for Kim Jong Il's picture was on the cover, and I was writing on the back, and he grabbed my arm, and he was like, "No," because
Wow.
if you write on it, it makes little
Yeah.
indentations on the
On
other
his
side that
yeah.
damages the photo, and I just did nothing for the rest of the flight because I thought, "What happens to me if this guy gets really pissed off?" Like,
Right.
you
Or one beer. You can
right,
torture to
Otto
death.
Warmbier,
Yeah.
yeah, and this is before that, well
Yeah.
before that, I
Yeah.
haven't gone since, but that kind of thing is if I feel that level of fear and I'm like, "Look, man, I live in the United States, what are you gonna do? We're on a flight, we're leaving the country." I can only imagine what you feel when when you've seen people's parents disappear. That must be happening at school, right? Someone's parents or even the kids you're with, they're just
Oh yeah, I
gone.
mean the whole family goes like the three generation goes. So if the North Korea your house get fire, like caught on fire, the first thing what you do, not rescuing your children or your mom or parents, you rescue the portraits of Kims.
The portraits that you keep in your
Yeah,
house.
everybody have to have portraits of Kims. So if you let that get caught on fire, that family clan is dead
Oh
and sent to
man.
prison camps. Yeah.
So you're
So
supposed to save these stupid printed photographs of the leaders instead of your own kids.
and there are so many, not just the portraits, maybe portraits. Okay, this picture. There was a tree
A
that
tree?
a tree that Kim Jong Un looked at, or Kim
Oh,
Jong Il back
yeah.
then. Kim Jong Il looked at.
Mhm.
And then those trees are like it's like a treasure, national tree, because our dear leader looked at it at one point, not touching it, just looked at it. So that thing was caught on fire. So somebody held it and protected it. I think it's maybe myth they created, and that's like what a national hero looks
For
like.
sure, yeah.
Yeah, so even a tree, that's how you have to give your life for.
I've seen this that's right, that it's funny you should remind me of this. This is such nonsense, right? Because 'Cause you'll go to, like, an ostrich farm or some dumb, stupid tourist thing that you don't even wanna go to, but they make you go. It's all on the itinerary.
Oh,
Like, an
really?
ostrich farm is literally an example of it, or, like, some sort of glass plant that or a chemical factory that has never been that thing hasn't
Oh,
run since
yeah.
1968. Like, it's been
Mhm.
off. You can tell. It's not a working factory. It's really obvious. And you're going there and you can see like, "Oh, this is the chair that the great comrade General Kim Jong Un sat in when he was inspecting the factory." And then there's like a huge mural that took months to create. And it's like they call it on the spot guidance. Have you heard of this?
Yeah.
It's where he like walks into this.
Although like letters on the wall, what he said at the
Yeah.
time when he visited.
Yeah, it's like here's this guy who's never seen a chemical factory, and he's like, "Hey, why don't you put that tank closer to that thing?" And they're like, "Wow, what a genius! He's revolutionized the way we make chemicals." And I'm thinking, to show up and tell other people how to do their job must be the most annoying thing in the world. And they're just like, "Well, paint the entire wall, down everything he said, gold plate the chair that he sat in for 5 minutes, and then make like a golden tile on the floor, and then never step there again." It's just so ridiculous. The whole thing is myth.
But like when you read even North Korean magazine or newspaper, the description of Kim's like takes one paragraph. We are like the greatest leader of our people, the army of the something, the party of the something, and the something, the youth leader of something. So the introduction takes a paragraph.
So it's like Grand Marshal, leader of the free,
Yeah,
yeah.
blah blah
Da,
blah
da, da,
blah
da.
goes. So going down, and then actually content begins there.
It's like reading a post on Forbes.com. It's like all fluff. Like, one sentence of content, the rest of it's nonsense. BuzzFeed journalism. Oh, they've turned it up lately.